Let's stick with them because the Titans were enormous. Des delivers, and what about the win? It was an absolute carve-up and by far their best performance of the season. Are the Titans back?
Well, it's the best win in the history of the Gold Coast Titans. The way that they were able to absolutely clinically put a bloodbath on against the New Zealand Warriors. They didn't have a bad player. I love what Des has done with young Keano Kini, and you look back at Des's history with fullbacks. Ben Barber won a Dally M under him. He also had Brett Stewart at the Manly Seagulls, developed him into one of the all-time champion fullbacks. It was super impressive from the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're back, but they're certainly on the up. There's no doubt about that. And you're right, Hoops. Keano Kini was outstanding for them. They've got a real headache there, haven't they? They've got a lot of fullbacks at that footy club. He wasn't the only one. Foz was great. The forward pack played really well. Fafita was great again. I mean, there's some really positive signs after a tough start to the year.
Gordy, you're close to the club.
Yep.
What's changed? Why were they so good on the weekend? It was a big turnaround.
Yeah, well, it's been a slow turnaround, but it's been big in the last sort of month of footy. I thought they were great about a month ago when they pushed sides like Melbourne Storm. I thought they'd turn the corner. Then they went to Leichhardt. It was a miserable day, and I was a little bit disappointed. But I think it's the first time the Titans have got their defence in order. I think it was 17 and less missed tackles, and they completed over 90%. So if you can do that in any game of footy, you're going to be a chance. And
so their discipline's a lot better.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that they're staying in the grind. They didn't show a lot of resilience in the last couple of years. So to go there, the missed tackles were low and their attack's always been pretty good. And I just love the way Jaden Campbell, it was a great foil too. That's probably maybe second or third game at number 6.
What I found impressive, Gordon, was they're a little bit shaky early on, but off the back of that disappointing loss to the West Tigers, they still just managed to steady. And then once they got going, all of a sudden, they were able to put on an absolute clinic in terms of the amount of points that they scored. And Des can build enormously off the back of that.
I want to see them back it up, though. I mean, it's all right to do this, on a one-off occasion. They haven't really backed up good performance. There's been no consistency this year with that footy club. And let's be honest, they weren't up against much.
Well,
the opposition were terrible.
Hang on though.
Mate, the opposition were disgraceful.
No, they were diabolical on the day. But if you looked at those two sides on paper, you tell me how many people were prepared to tip the Gold Coast Titans.
Well, I didn't. But I didn't think the Warriors would be as bad as they were. The Warriors were disgusting.
Yeah, well, you just answered the question.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the Warriors? They were
Their big players aren't
terrible.
Mate, they're big players. So last year when we were all singing their praises and it was the Wars and it was sweeping through rugby league over here and it was sellout crowds, I thought Sean Johnson was running the ship. They were gritty. It was all the things that weren't common with the Warriors. Normally they go on a run and it's momentum, but they'll win and just being really tough and gritty and outgrinding sides and building off their defence. And I haven't seen it. 66 points.
There's got to be something more to it, though. Rudy, have you heard anything?
Well, I mean, there was some whispers going around that the Adam Fanua-Blake situation had unsettled them a bit. Obviously, he's going to Cronulla next year. I checked on that at the sub. I thought maybe Cronulla might reach out to try and get him early.
What happened there?
I'm told that won't happen. Adam wants to stay there, finish the season off. Feels like he's got a debt to the Warriors for letting him leave. But again, he was poor on the weekend.
Would it be better for the Warriors to let him go at the moment?
Well, Cronulla couldn't take him anyway. They haven't got the money.
No.
They have not
well,
got
you can make money, though, Hoops, if
There
you need
seems to be,
They'd
they'd have to
move.
chop
But
players.
Royce Hunt's obviously a guy that they've said's got permission to leave at the end of 26.
They're running out of time, though. Hasn't it got to get done by June
6 days,
30?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
If we step back a bit, right, it was Magic Round. Was it Magic Round? Brilliant, right? And then after that, Adam Fanua-Blake apparently didn't take part in the team song. He got dropped the following game. He hasn't been the same since, and therefore the form of the Warriors hasn't been. So there seems to be an issue there that is a real big problem.
I reckon he's one of those guys who, when he's all in, he's amazing. But when he's not all in, it just doesn't work well within the group. And it feels like he's not all in at the moment. I know, speaking to people close to him today, they said, look, he's committed. As I said, he wants to finish the season there. He wants to repay a debt to that footy club. But he's just not playing well. And when he doesn't play well, they don't play well. You can talk about Sean Johnson, but if Adam's the man who gets them going, I mean, Sean's not playing great either, but for me, Adam's the litmus test for them. And if he's not playing well, if he's not in the mood, they're not in the mood.
Well, there's no
then
question.
do they drop him?
You can't drop him. I mean,
Why can't they?
well, his attitude,
bad. Reddy, his attitude could be destabilising to the group from what you're suggesting. But to Gordon's point from earlier, Sean Johnson absolutely blitzed it last season, but there's no sugarcoating. Since he's come back into the team over the course of the last couple of weeks, they haven't performed, and he hasn't been engaging the line, dancing in the valley of death and really taking things on the way that he was last year. And I think it's actually nullified Tamari Martin, who was flying when they had those couple of really good wins prior to that.
Sean's a very much confidence player. He always has been, and he's outstanding. Probably no one better when he's on the front foot off a quick play the ball. His challenge has always been if they are off the back foot and not getting those quick play the balls, and that's probably what's held them back from winning premiership, really, or at certain points over his career, and that's the big challenge for him.
And really, for the organisation moving forward, if he doesn't want to be there and if he doesn't want to pay the price, you can't let it spiral out of control. Right, because bad habits will come into your organisation and it'll take longer than a pre-season to turn it back around. Cut your nose off now and just make a tough decision.
Well, I'm assured that he does want to be there. And as I said, he wants to finish the season off
play good or
well
finish
for the
in
footy
reserve
club.
grade.
But he needs to get better. They all do. I mean, you know, they were all there was not a single decent player for the Warriors on the weekend. They were disgraceful. And that's the last thing they need at the moment because the game's flying over there. You know, there's a chance they could be the first team in history to sell out every home game this year. They're on the verge of that. The last thing they need is to fall in a hole.
Also, they're going to Vegas next year too, so we want them to go. Well, no, because we want not for that reason, but we want a number of their fans to go over and support. We want a big turnout.
You're right.
Oh, come on! I don't know why he's laughing.